This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now. This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now.
What is up, 24/7 Buff Pandemonium Saturday sessions? Holy moly, it's December 17th. It is the biggest game of the season right now, as far as I'm concerned. Revenge Tour 2022. Ooh. Can't wait to get into it with you guys. Right here next to me is my buddy, Scooter Magooter. Tell the people about it, Scott.
What's up, everyone? What's up, FLX Mafia, 24/7 Buff Pandemonium, Bills Mafia. Guys, this is like playoff atmosphere football. And I mentioned in some the K-Gun report, it's almost like back to the 90s where a big playoff indicated game was being played against Miami in Buffalo. AFC East is up for grabs. We win today, we're in the playoffs. Doesn't matter how anything else plays out. It's exciting football, and we're on prime time. Can't wait for it. And real quick, Swank, I just want to throw this out there. My beer for tonight is from Reinvention Brewing.
Hey,
Guys,
home of the Rager.
Yeah, home of the Rager 2022. If you're in the Manchester area, local Finger Lakes area, hit up this place. They got sours, they got ciders, they got IPAs, they got anything you can think of. Hit them up. I'm drinking their Middle Finger IPA right now because that whole Brian Cox middle finger got me all pissed off and fired right now, and that happened 25 years ago. Let's go, Bills. Let's bring it home. Let's show up today.
There you go. That was a mouthful. I love it. Down to the south here, we got this most sultriest voice in Western New York, Mr. Ryan Thomas from Ryan Thomas Take Sports Podcast. What's up, buddy?
What is up, boys? I am pumped up for tonight. As Swank said, this is a big one. The next one is always a big one, and this is the next one. We're staring it right in the face. We're counting down. Scott's got the beer on ice. Swank, I'm sure you got a cold one close by. My cold ones are downstairs. I'll be sure to bring them upstairs pretty soon.
Swank did it a little too much last night. So.
Swank's going to wake up the liver a little bit and say, oh, some water.
I'll probably crack one around halftime. Maybe we'll see.
Water! Hair of the dog, Swank. Hair of the dog. You got it. You're good.
And this coming in from Rob Mullen. I just got a text from him. The field looked great right now, but the snow has just started.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Thanks, Rob, for that update.
So we got Brent Thompson here. We got John Johns, Patrick Hughes. We got Chris Christian. We got Greg. What up, Greg? Mike V.
Guys?
Robbie from Let's Talk 716 Sports. What's up, brother Robert? We got Chiggy. What's up, buddy?
What's up, Chiggy?
And then we got the artist formerly known as Jerry Reed.
Oh, there you go. Jerry. Anyways, welcome all.
Yeah. We got a little bit of housekeeping news, right? So in the week here, we signed Mr. Cole Beasley. Mr. Cole Beasley is active for tonight's game, and we were getting into it a little bit before the show here. RT, why don't you give us a little bit of your take on what Cole is going to mean to this game and this team the rest of the season?
Well, bringing back a player like Cole Beasley, we know what he did in the past for not just this team, but most importantly, for our guy number 17, Josh Allen. And as we have learned in the last few days since they signed Cole Beasley, it was Josh Allen allegedly that went to the brass and said, hey, you guys got to get me my guys, get me my John Brown, get me my Cole Beasley. And those two guys have been missed. I hate to admit it, but Isaiah McKenzie and some of these other guys, Khalil Shakir, some of these other guys that they asked to step up and kind of fill that void, didn't really fill that void. One of those guys, I think, would have done more than enough to fill that void, and that was Jamison Crowder, but he got hurt. And that was a big loss to this team, as well as obviously Von Miller. But I believe that this is going to really show, and we're really going to see the offense that we've been missing these last, X amount of weeks. And that offense being a methodical, moving the chains offense where Josh Allen is able to just pick his spots all along the field. Beasley, Diggs, Davis, hopefully the confidence of the offense producing can get that guy's confidence back up, because it's not for lack of talent with Gabe Davis. We're just seeing him, I think, get in his own head a little bit. Maybe the pressure was a little bit too much for him to be the number 2 wideout on the Buffalo Bills. But guys, I think we have to look at it this way. They had to go back to the well a little bit and get these guys to reunite. That means they didn't like what they saw. And I think this tells me, call me crazy, but the addition or re-addition of Cole Beasley and John Brown means that wide receiver is going to be a top priority for the Buffalo Bills this offseason. We could see the Buffalo Bills go with a wide receiver in the first or second round, just given the future, the position. You look at the league, the way the league has trended, the Cincinnati Bengals, they went with T. Higgins and Jamar Chase 2 years in a row. And we're starting to see, some of the teams that have accumulated firepower over the years, even the New York Jets have been able to acquire, skill position players in the first round. So I think the mock draft season, it's never too early to get started. Check out some of those rookie wideouts that'll be in the 2023 rookie class, and wouldn't be shocked if one of them was wearing Buffalo Bills red, white, and blue.
Well, I mean, the most important thing is to get weapons around Josh Allen, right?
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
So I'm all for it. Scott,
Right. See, where I agree with you on that is the wide receiver is going to be taken early. I just don't think it's going to be one of those big, high class first round wide receivers. It's going to be a second or third rounder that's going to take care of that slot position. I think
Right.
Diggs is doing fine. Davis is going to have a lot more expectations. But I think I agree with you. I think wide receiver, it's going to be a flashy, speedy 4.3, 4.4 guy, and we'll have that list for you after the season this year.
Yeah, and Scott makes a great point. Like the Bills they're not going to be in the position to take a top flight guy. Number one. Number two, there probably isn't a top 10 pick wide receiver in this class that they'll be able to go up and get. They'll have to give up a lot. But Brandon Beane has been known to move up in the second round. He's done it a lot. So I wouldn't be shocked if that happened again for a wideout this time around.
I like it, man. I like it a lot. I think, keep bringing them in here. Make them big pops. Make them.
You don't want Josh Allen to be Aaron Rodgers right now.
No.
That's not what you want.
Yeah, absolutely.
I agree. I think the whole Cole Beasley thing is a perfect move for this time of the year. We got that cold weather, that slippery surface coming in, a guy that can read his own routes and make an adjustment based on what coverage he's getting is what Josh Allen kind of alluded to during the comments with Cole Beasley. A lot of times you'll go out there and say, run a read route. He's got 3 or 4 under his repertoire. He's going to be able to confuse these linebackers and these nickel backs that are trying to cover him. And he's going to be a nice comfort blanket for Josh Allen as he was the previous years. And you're going to see Josh Allen trusting it a lot more, using him a lot more on third down and getting rid of the ball a lot quicker. And we're going to probably see it today.
I think that's what it needs. I think this offense needs a little bit of that spark. We were talking kind of what Cole can bring to the table here. A lot of slants, a lot of emergency lines for Mr. Josh Allen. And I don't know, we were talking, I want to see him get worked in right off the bat. I want them to know that this is real. This is a real threat, Going back real quick to the playmaker part of things, look at what Tua's doing with Tyreek Hill and Waddle
Perfect
right now.
point.
Any quarterback could be. Derek Carr could go back there and look like an MVP.
Derek Carr, man.
And you just got to huck it up. If you can huck it up 50 yards, no problem.
And to look at what Devontae Adams did for Derek Carr. I know the Raiders have had a down year, but there's been weeks where Devontae Adams has blown up and shown why he's one of the best receivers in the league. And it's a passing league. I think for as great as Stephon Diggs is, we all love Stephon Diggs, but he is pushing those 30s. You always have to plan ahead in this league. You never know what's to come. Right. So I think that's a key point. And I feel like, to talk about Beasley, 7 years in Dallas, 3 years here in Buffalo, comes here the first time around with 7 years in Dallas behind him playing with Tony Romo. Tony Romo has gone on record multiple times in a lot of interviews, even while commentating Bills games, that Cole Beasley was his favorite wide receiver that he ever had. And that says a lot. I mean, that dude played with T.O., Miles Austin, Des Bryant. Those guys were all ballers at one point or another, and Cole Beasley was too.
Yep. And he's not coming here to play 5 games, guys.
Right.
He wouldn't have signed that contract and all that stuff if he was just going to play 5 games. So he believes in this team, just like the rest of us do, to have a deep playoff run and hopefully holding that trophy.
Hey,
finish what they started.
Yeah, absolutely. And what better time to get Josh Allen in his comfort zone than the end of the season heading into the playoffs. So I think it's a win for everybody. We're going to move on here to inactives, but he also had a really good press conference. I think that he anybody that had any misgivings about him coming back, I think that he's a real dude. I think he was pretty emotional about coming back and wanting to finish something. And he's been in talks with Beane, he said, since Thanksgiving about it. So I think it'll be good, and I think he'll flash real early in this game. Let's get on to tonight's inactives. Your list is still looking pretty decent. I think the only name on here that's given me any pause is, it sucks that Ryan Bates is out. But does this mean, did Bodker get called up? Do we know?
He had to have.
Yeah.
He had to have, because his time has been up, and I'm not seeing him on the inactive. So
they have until tomorrow. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yep. Everybody thought it was today. It's actually tomorrow. So okay. I don't know. That'll be interesting if he's out there. I really like him.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
it'd be great to get him out. But your other inactives, Xavier Rhodes, Balin Spector, Tommy Sweeney, Dean Marlowe, Ryan Bates, and Jordan Phillips, who we knew about earlier in the week. So, again, heading into this week, pretty healthy, minus some obvious, Von Millers and Micah Hydes. I did want to pull up this list of players really fast here.
Please tell me it's the list of players that didn't play in the first week.
Yep.
Love that list.
Yes.
Cover One, Anthony from Cover One posted this 2 days ago. Players available this week for the Bills who weren't active week 3. Jordan Poyer, Tre'Davious White, Ed Oliver, Mitch Morse, Dane Jackson, Nyheim Hines, John Brown, Cole Beasley. Also, Gabe and Dawson played banged up.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's quite a list.
And then you got to throw in the heat factor of who dropped like flies during that game on both sides, not just on the Bills. So, man, that was a weird game, to say the least.
500 yards to 200, cramping in the fourth quarter. We were 2 yards from Isaiah McKenzie getting within field goal range or out of bounds to be able to kick a game-winning field goal with all those people missing.
Yep.
That's significant. I don't care who you are. You could be a Miami Dolphins fan. I think it was a biggest upset. And that was their Super Bowl, and I'll say it still.
Yep, it was their Super Bowl, and Isaiah McKenzie, as you mentioned, 2 yards away from getting out of bounds and teeing it up for the most dynamite automatic kicker that the NFL has to offer in Tyler Bass. I'll say it.
There you go.
Oh.
So, Swank, I know you talked about the inactives real quick. I'm looking at Miami's inactives right now. I don't know if you guys noticed.
Yeah, I got that up.
They don't have 2 wide receivers, Elijah Campbell and Eric Azuma. So right now they got Waddle, Hill, Sheffield, and then Wilson. I think they're only bringing 4 wide receivers unless they brought someone up from the practice squad. And their safety, Eric Rowe, is out, and defensive back Elijah Campbell. That means they have 2 rookie defensive backs out there if they're playing any nickel or dime defense. So that's going to be not looking so good for Miami.
I'm hoping not, man. I think
Eric Rowe's a big loss. He's usually out there, yeah.
Also, I mean, Jeff Wilson, he's inactive too, and I think he's a pretty decent running back, and they were using him a little bit, and it's going to be a definite different look, and I just hope it, this fairy tale has a happy ending, man.
Cream always rises to the top. It does.
That quote was a Macho Man quote?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, baby.
The cream always rises to the top. The cream always rises.
All right, so...
Yeah, honestly, it's this is a fairy tale. We're living in it.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. Scott, got the inactives out of the way. We're getting into this. We're going to be right to the dime, 8 o'clock. You will not see us 3 on your screen because we're getting our shit ready to go here. What about this Miami offense? What's our defense got to look for? What should we be worried about? I mean, I know there's this big glaring obvious answer to that question, but hit us with your take.
My take is the field is green right now, and the snow has just started. So I think both of these teams are going to start off hot, start off quick, try to put the points on the board as fast as they can. Bills can drive using the short patterns, the cross routes, all that stuff, and drive down strategically. The Miami Dolphins tend to like to throw the ball deep to Hill or Waddle, or throw a crazy screen that potentially could break big. So look for them to try to pass the ball right off the bat, with the field looking nice, obviously, like I said. So I'm looking for a fast start. And I'm hoping that the Bills revamp secondary, and I'm saying that because of the secondary that they provided against the Week 3 Miami Dolphins is totally different. So let's have Tua continue to be doing what he's done the last 3 weeks. He played in cold weather, 50 degrees last week, and he couldn't throw an accurate ball for his life. So hopefully we see that. I want to see the origami champ of the world, Milano, split Tua in half again, like he did Mike White. I just want to see pressure and good coverage on those corners. Like we said on the Kagan report, if we can have Kyer Elam manning on either Waddle or Elam, because he is very, very good at that, have Trey White do what Trey White does against these very high potent wide receivers and just have our guys, Hamlin, who's coming into his own, and Poyer, who we know exactly what we're getting out of Poyer, play their deep halves. Let's frustrate them. They're going to come out hot. They're going to try it. Let's put some snow on that fire and let it sizzle out quick.
Ooh. We got Chicky saying Hamlin needs to have a good game. I think that's a good point that we were talking about. I think that he's been playing really well. If we're getting into that secondary, Ryan, what are you thinking is going to be the matchup tonight? Is Kyer going to get his one-on-one with Hill? Are we going to see more Dane? What do you think?
I think we're going to see a variety of White on Waddle or White on Hill, as well as Elam on Waddle and Elam on Hill. A lot of these teams nowadays, they love to mix guys around, and Miami does have fast athletes on this team, on this offense, with Hill and Waddle. I'd say they're the two best pure speed threats that the game has to offer, and they're on one team with one very mediocre quarterback throwing them the football. I'll say it, throwing it out there. And for as great as Kyer Elam has been, when he's been given the opportunity, at least, we were kind of scratching our heads as to why he was inactive a couple weeks back, and that was a huge talking point on Twitter for many Bills Mafia members. But he's back out there. Trey White's back out there. I think that they can get it done against Hill and Waddle. I'd say that those are the two best corners that Hill and Waddle have faced all season long. What really has me curious is checking the tape of the Dolphins against the Chargers. When Tua is pressured, when Tua is rushed, when Tua is hurried, he is very afraid. And he's very afraid because he's suffered horrible injuries over the course of his career at Bama, as well in the NFL, to his body and even worse to his brain. And I say that with all due respect, I would be a little bit gun shy as well if I suffered the concussions that he has, especially in the amount of time that he suffered those concussions earlier in the season. Buffalo is going to get after it tonight. There's going to be 75,000 strong. I think this defense showed something last week against the Jets that has Bills fans really excited. They were able to get after the quarterback. Young players are stepping up and showing their potential. Guys like Gregory Rousseau, Ed Oliver's having a Pro Bowl season. So if the front four does their job, I see turnovers in this game forced by the Buffalo Bills defense, and I see this defense having a really great collective day that we really have missed all season long because we haven't had our full array of defensive superstars at one time.
Yeah, and I'll say it's still a damn shame that, Vaughn and Hyde are going to miss out on this. I just think that would be the most beautifully glorious thing. And when they were healthier in the beginning of the season, it was steamrolling, So it's a shame, but next season, Chris Stevenson actually on that point says any legitimacy on Hyde coming back, I'd love to see it, but he needs to think about his health. We kind of addressed this at the K-Gun. I think it's all just rumors. I think, we talked about it Sunday Sessions last week too, didn't we, Ryan?
Yeah, we did. Yep.
Yeah, because it's one of those rumors you wish were true, but he himself out of his mouth said 23 and 23. So I'm assuming that means next season he's not planning on retiring. He's going to come back, hoping to play healthy and, get us another Super Bowl.
And like you alluded to earlier, Swank, Hamlin's playing good enough now that I wouldn't rush anything with him, with Hyde. I would not do that.
Micah Hyde's the type of guy, too. Sorry to interrupt you. Micah Hyde's the type of guy that he is so humble in the fact that he wants to be out there, but he almost doesn't want to hurt the team by being out there at less than 100%. Most players aren't man enough to admit that they're not 100, and they force themselves. I actually respect that more, that Micah Hyde's willing to say 23 and 23. Give me the time I need. I'll be back ready and raring to go. I like that.
Yeah. I think it's a testament to the culture and the character of this team too, knowing that that's just the way it has to be, and being okay with it. And I don't know. It's a shame, but onward and upward. Safety is not our problem right now. For me, CB2 is the biggest problem. And as much as I love Dane, he has not been showing out. So I would like to see a real healthy rotation in that spot. And I would love to see a lot of pressure on Tua. Flipping to the other side of the ball, offensively, our team, man, what are we looking for out of this Bills offense tonight?
I'm looking to see Cole Beasley get reestablished as a slot receiving threat. I'm looking to see Dawson Knox get more targets. It's kind of weird. I use this analogy when I talk about Dawson Knox, and I've kind of hinted at it a few times, but Dawson Knox got paid. He got a good contract. I love Dawson Knox. We all love Dawson Knox. Every member of Bills Mafia. West Her loves the guy. I've actually seen him at a West Her dealership, like in person. Big guy. And, I understand why he's called Rambo. He's literally jacked. He's a big specimen of a man. But I want to see that big specimen not just jumping into the end zone. I want to see him running some people over to rev up the offense and get Josh Allen going. So I want to see him get the ball tonight as well. And I do think there is something to the fact that James Cook and Devin Singletary are starting to kind of carve themselves into this offense a little bit more. If the weather does play a factor, time of possession is going to be key. If the Buffalo Bills are stagnant because of this weather that we're expecting, we've got to be able to move the chains efficiently via the ground game. And Roger Saffold, eyes on him as a run blocking guard, paving the way as a pull guard to open up holes for Cook and Singletary. And I hope we see that tonight if in fact we have to.
I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to agree. I could just not say anything. I think you nailed everything. I think the fact that Beasley comes into it, I think the Beasley running backs and Isaiah McKenzie are going to play a big part in this game. And Beasley just came to us not too long ago. So this whole defensive scheme that Miami was probably thinking about, running zones or man, now they have to come up with a cover 3 zone, or a lot of linebackers, a lot of people in the mid area. They may have to change their defense up significantly because, like I mentioned before, Beasley can make you call one play for Beasley, he has 3 options to run, and he's going to tear those zones apart. So Miami may have done a lot of adjustments in the last couple of days, and that's going to be tough for them to do. And then once you start manning up slot receivers, those running backs out of the backfield are going to be a significant part of like a football game. So it'll be very interesting to see what Ken Dorsey dials up and if Miami's even prepared.
On a short travel week where they're coming from the West Coast, there's a little bit of that there too, I think, and extreme temperature change. And just for example here, I was telling these guys, I saw a picture or two of the stadium seats, and right here, right on Twitter, right here on your screen, Aaron at Sequel the Awesome, snow game, hashtag Miami versus Buffalo. Any unheated seat in that stadium is just covered in snow right now.
Snowballs.
Yep. The heated seats are all good. The field is looking really good right now. But our boy Rob Mullins at the game, and he just texted and said it's starting to come down a little bit, and by halftime it's going to be heavy. So it's going to be a fun night, man. I think we're going to get a little bit of everything. Let's go around here and hit some bold predictions and some score predictions, and then we'll get to popping. I think I am ready for a beer.
There you go.
Yeah, see what I did there?
Yeah, you guys you just willed me back to life, man. Scooter, you want to start it out?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
I'll start it out. Prediction 24-10. I think I said that in the Kagan report. Bold prediction. If the field's nice, I see the Bills getting a hot start. I think we're going to be up by 14 points, 21 points at half. I think one of the big keys of this game is we are kind of bummed that Jordan Phillips isn't playing again. He used to play for Miami. It was kind of tough to see him missing these weeks, but we saw what the Bills defensive line did against the Jets last week, creating pressure and all that stuff. Big time. Tua and the running back. Mostert can run pretty fast, so we need to get him under control. So if that interior defensive line, and I'm looking at Ed Oliver and Daquan Jones and Tim Settle and Brandon Bryant for this game, mind your gaps. Get pressure on the quarterback. Let's wreak havoc, and let's protect this 21-point lead that we will have at halftime.
I like it. I like it. RT, what do you got?
I see this game as you mentioned Swank, I believe. Or maybe it was Scott. Maybe it was a little bit of both. We'll just say it was a little bit of both. Give you guys equal amount of credit in the sense of talking about the field being clear right now, and trying to score points as soon as you possibly can. I think the Miami Dolphins are going to try to implement that type of strategy, and I think that is going to backfire greatly if, in fact, they go down that path. Because I do believe that when Tua is hurried, when Tua is pressured, as I said, he makes mistakes. And whoever makes more mistakes early in this game, and I think it's going to be the Dolphins, could lead to this game being a far greater separation in terms of the score than what most people expect. Could be a 21-point lead at halftime, as Scott mentioned. Could be, by the end of it, a 38-10 victory by the Buffalo Bills, depending on the fans and the momentum that we accumulate over the course of the game. I do see turnovers taking place. I do see Tua being out of his element in the elements that will present themselves, I should say. And I think that this is going to be a game where the Buffalo Bills defense is going to really step up once again. And a lot of people in the national news will be saying, this is the defense that lost Von Miller. And this is what we're seeing from this defense. Everybody talks about the Buffalo Bills offense, and I love the Buffalo Bills offense. I got Josh Allen. I got Thurman Thomas behind me. Of course I do. But this Bills defense is special. This Bills defense, we haven't even seen the best of it yet. And I think once we see it all together, it's really going to be special. And I think tonight's the night that we see that. So I'm calling for sacks. I'm calling for turnovers, interceptions, fumble recoveries. I think we could see that. And I think that's what's going to lead to a rout of the Miami Dolphins by the Buffalo Bills.
Well, damn, fantasy football defenses are going to be loving you today.
Oh.
Yeah.
I got the chills. Yeah, I mean, I think I went kind of safe with a weather prediction score kind of thing on the K-Gun. That's over for me. I think they're gonna get in the high 30s. I'm going 38-13, and I got no respect for Tua. That ball's gonna be hard. I know it snows in Alabama, Tuscaloosa. 7 inches over a year. It snows, and that's pretty serious. So, I respect that.
It doesn't stick though.
Yeah, it doesn't stick, and it doesn't get that cold. I will say there was some clarification as far as the heater thing with in LA. Like it was 55, and they had their heaters on. They had heaters because the Rams had heaters. So each side had them, whatever. I don't think you got to turn them on if you don't want to. So I'm saying they were still cold, but there was a clarification that came out that no, it wasn't just Miami, it was both sides. I'm like, whatever, dude. It's 20. It's 20, and it's going to get heavy and snowy. And with that respect, my bold prediction goes out to one Gregory Rousseau. I don't think you're going to be able to hold him back. I don't think with Vaughn in his ear on the sideline and returning to practice and coaching those dudes up and being right there for them, there's any way you're going to stop that man. I think he's going to get back there and he's going to get his just like he got his last week. And I think it's going to be a little more significant this week. I don't think Tua is going to be able to do anything about it. That ball is going to be hard. It's going to be cold. And I love to see it. So I'm seeing Groot, 2 sacks, and a forced fumble.
Nice.
Love it. Love it. Yeah, and Miami's offensive line is not 100%. I don't know what the inactives are as far as linemen, but I do know that they've had several injuries on their offensive line throughout the season where guys are just coming back together. So you have a starting 5 each and every week. If that's changing constantly, as constant as it has been for Miami, that can pose a problem for their offense.
Oh, yeah. I want to see him get hit and hit often.
Yep.
I mean, like you said, you saw Matt Milano turn Mike White into the letter C, and I love it. I think, you know what? I got no empathy, no sympathy. They're gonna go out there and do their job, and if he gets hit, he gets hit. I think to your point, Ryan, earlier about hearing footsteps and not liking the encounters that he had previously. That might play a factor, man. I don't think he wants Milano breathing down his neck. So.
And even Mike White, he had those rib injuries and he was breathing heavy and everything. Tua has had hip concussions, bad concussions, where you're fencing, as they call it, a fencing response on the field on your back. Yeah. It's a wonder that they put him back out there. That's another topic for another day, but Absolutely. He's playing, and we'll see what they get out of him.
Oh yeah. All right, kiddos. It's 8:01. I gotta go get my TV set up. Hit them with your Twitter handles and your Facebooks and your whatevers, and we'll get a Go Bills and get the hell out. Go ahead, RT.
Alrighty, you guys can find me on the Thomas Take Sports Podcast, Facebook, YouTube, any and all audio podcasting platforms. You got Apple Podcasts, Spotify, you name it. Thomas Take Sports Podcast, up to date on all things Buffalo Bills and much more. Check it out. Appreciate the support. At Ryan Thomas Take on Twitter.
Hell yeah. Scooter Magooter.
Hey guys, I wore this shirt for a reason. It might be chilly. All this talk this week about two of the Miami Dolphins playing against the Buffalo Bills under weather that we should be doing well in compared to them. We need to show up. All this talk is nothing unless you can actually perform on the field when it's 20 degrees out and snowing. So my shout out, my final thought is, Buffalo, if you want to prove that you're a legit Buffalo football city football team, you need to perform well in this cold weather when the snow is pumping. The fans are going to be loud. Everything that necessarily is going to be needed is going to be there. You got to show up. So I'm excited for it. We always are, guys. I can't wait for it. Drive safe, please, guys. Anybody that's coming home from the game, drink responsibly. And if you're home, get shit-faced like I'm going to. Love all you guys. I can't wait for this matchup. It's playoff caliber. We win. We're in, not necessarily the AFC East beast, but we're in the playoffs regardless. So that's number one. And that's what we're going for today. Go Bills.
Hell yeah. I'm watching this little video, Stephon Diggs doing Stephon Diggs things. I don't know the whole context behind it, but he found a kid that he wanted to point out specifically, gave him a pair of cleats. Little kids crying on the stands and all that stuff. So
what a guy!
I don't know, man. How can you not love this team? Dude?
He needs his cleats for the game though, so I don't know what that.
That's how tough this motherfucker
is. he could do just as good without cleats as he would with cleats. Yeah. Dude's awesome.
Yeah, he's awesome.
So, hey kids, enjoy this. I mean, what the hell? We're talking playoff football again, and it's week 14, 15. You know, we still got a handful of games left here, and we could clinch a spot tonight. It's Saturday night. The Bills
We're on the table.
We're on the table, dude. Control your destiny. The Bills are good enough to be pushed into yet another primetime game. Remember that for all those years that they weren't good enough to even get one. You know what I mean? So, squish the fish. I hate the Dolphins. Go Bills.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.
Have a good one, guys. Go Bills!
This is a dangerous group.